Hello everybody, this is Fernando for the latest Cryptids and Monsters Encounters video. Well, you guys and gals seem to definitely love tales associated with the crawler, so I thought I would share another one here. I still see a lot of comments, a lot of views tied to my previous video, so thank you so much everyone for those encouraging items. In this case, this story comes from the reddit.com website. They're from the subreddit called Crawler Sightings. It's from a user called Gazpacho Gazebo Party, and in this case it's not necessarily a scary encounter, more like a what did we just see type situation. In fact, at one point this crawler didn't even acknowledge the people. Instead it just moved about its own merry little way, but still definitely created a memorable set of circumstances for this person, this user. But yes, they titled theirs as Holland, Michigan 2018, which gives you an idea essentially of the time and the location. So let's go ahead and let's share this encounter here, and then I'll give my own thoughts and opinions on it afterward. So here's what they stated. In 2018, I was in college in the small town of Holland, Michigan. It's a small rural town 30 minutes away from Grand Rapids. The town barely has a downtown area consisting of one street. If you walk past the street, you'll eventually come to a small park called Window on the Waterfront. Many people visit this park at multiple times throughout the day, which is why it feels strange that myself and my girlfriend were the only ones who saw something. Personally, I have gone to this park at extremely late hours because I was a bored college kid and never had a weird experience until my junior year. And so on a random Saturday, my girlfriend and I had the idea to walk through the park at sunset because the sky was beautiful and we wanted to get out of the house. We walked around the whole perimeter and then sat in the open grass field for a little. Afterwards, we decided we should get something to eat and started to cut through the grass field to get into town sooner. Now, when we were walking back, the sun was still up. It looked more like dusk or twilight hours, but definitely enough sun to see clearly. In addition, this park and town in general is not near any woods. In order to get to the woods, you have to go by car and drive a few minutes out, maybe like 5 or 10 minutes or so. Halfway through the field is when something strange emerged from the bushes. I remember it had pale white skin and was extremely thin. Even though it seemingly walked on all fours, it still looked pretty tall. At first, I thought it was a sick deer or something, but the closer we got, the stranger it looked. It started to look less animalistic and more humanoid. At least that was the head. At least it was shaped like a human's. It did not look at us or even acknowledge us. It only crossed our path and then disappeared into a little cove hidden between a few trees. Only after it disappeared did my girlfriend and I acknowledge what we just saw and how frightening our outcome could have been. Even so, we're the only ones in the area who had seen it, as the park was empty at this time. A few days later, we returned in broad daylight to see where it possibly disappeared to. To my surprise, I had forgotten that the park was near what I think may have been a sewage plant and saw a huge pipe on the side of the grassy mound between the trees. Maybe a drain for when it rains are too high. I'm not sure. And what I am sure of is that this thing hid in that pipe or may even have lived there. Seeing that creature made me question everything I thought I knew of the natural world. I didn't believe in cryptids or myths because I thought they were just made up or something, at least to scare kids. But if something like that exists, then honestly, so much more can too. I know it happened years ago, and I hate myself for not recording it or taking a picture. Maybe I was too scared. But those things are out there. I've seen them in plain daylight, and I'm hoping posting my story can bring some clarity. To this day, I'm hoping I just saw a sick animal. The crawler drawings and stories I've read are the closest to describing what I saw. And then that's it. That's everything that this user, Gazpacho Gazebo Party, mentioned in their encounter. So let's go ahead and let's talk about that here. Again, not really a scary encounter. It was more along the lines of this crawler just going from point A to point B. again, didn't even pay much attention to the user or his girlfriend. But in their case, they still saw it for what it was. Definitely looked like your average down to the wire crawler. It had that pale skin, had that very, very thin body. It was walking on all fours. It had that humanoid look, and it was there in that park at least, and then it was going into what would later maybe potentially be its home, which was that pipe. It makes sense that it would go from one point to the other and then not be seen again, and it would be that pipe, that sewage pipe, because that would go towards an area that most people wouldn't go to, but it'd be a perfect place for this crawler. By the way, you know how much I love specific locations, in this case being that area there, Holland, Michigan, and a park there called Window on the Waterfront. So if anyone knows about that park or is local to that area, what a sweet spot to go to, because you get to go there, and maybe if you find that ditch, there you go. There's a good opportunity to try to see, at least if not the crawler, then the home associated with a crawler. If anyone does that, let me know how it goes in the comments. I'd love to hear what your encounters are, pictures, and so on. I believe the comments still allow links when it comes to that stuff, and so you'll be able to post it for everyone to showcase here. But also the other interesting thing about it is they were mentioning that this place is again filled with people. You go there in the park, it's a beautiful area. It has a lot of open grass and so on. But there was nobody there whenever they went, at least from that dusk to the twilight area. It's like all the people disappeared. By sheer coincidence, there's this crawler now moving from one point to the other. So interesting that it was almost like intelligent enough to know to do so at the right time. Otherwise, if it did a little bit earlier, then there would be a lot of commotion. People would see it, and then it in turn would be got. Like, in other words, it would have its location found. Maybe it was doing this thinking that it was just completely in the clear, that there was not going to be any other people around. The fact that the user and the girlfriend were sitting there on the ground, not really doing anything, not making any noise and so on, maybe that's what happened. The crawler thought that it was by itself, and for lack of a better term, it seemed like it was that way to it, because it never again acknowledged the user. So maybe it didn't even recognize their existence there, and so that's why it did so, at least during that time period and nowhere else. Again, this ties into the fact that this user stated they were there multiple times before, never seen anything like that, but now all of a sudden they were looking at what could be indeed a crawler. Interesting stuff. But if anybody has any more info, anything else I might have missed, please post those comments below. Maybe there's some lucky viewers again that are local to that area, have more information with regards to that place. If you're going to go there, then please post those comments too about your experiences. Love to hear what that is too. All right, everybody. Thanks again as always. Take care. Bye.